What's up, everybody, or all two of you? What's up, Chris? Hopefully, you can hear me okay.
Yeah.
I think we're everything is good. We're rolling. So, um, I just give it a second here for a couple of people to come in. All right. So, what's up, everybody? That's not at the NAM show, which is probably most of us. It certainly is me. Um, yeah, Tony Camponovo here, your friendly southeastern product specialist for Line 6. And we've got our buddy Chris Payeur joining us again today. He's going to be hanging out and probably offering a little bit of his own insight to what I'm going to be talking about today. And I know he has already got his stuff, he's figured his stuff out. So I'm looking forward to what you got to say, Chris. Some of you may be familiar with the Amp of the Week campaign that we've been doing on Instagram. And for those of you that are not familiar with that, we've just been actually more than once a week, but we've been showcasing different amp models from Helix, and the product specialist team has been creating presets for this particular campaign that are kind of a stripped down version of the average preset, in order to give just a really good demo of the bare bones amplifiers, how they sound, or the cabinets, how they sound without too much effects going on, like EQ and compression. We're trying to avoid things like compression and EQ, things like that, that color your tone too much. So I thought it would be cool to go into some of the amps that I've been making for this. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to start with today. And the amp I'm starting with is this Rev Gen Red, which is a really good sounding high gain amp, as you can tell already. Adjust my camera a little bit. But that was even worse. Made it worse. This is not the amp, this is my guitar, but whatever. So yeah, I'm using this Rev Gen Red, and I'm just gonna kind of talk about this preset that I created that to me, I spend some time with these amps and cabs when we're making these presets, and I try to come up with something that just really captures the amp sound without being saturated with effects, so you can really hear what's going on. And I will explain what I do or how I do that right now, but just as a little preview, just how this amp sounds. It's pretty high gain. Real chuggy rhythm sound, So I'll just get right into what I'm working with here. I'm going to swap over here to my HX Edit. And let's see, Chris, I've got you muted. Do I have control of that?
Oh, it was on my end.
Okay, cool.
Echo.
Okay, cool. I'll mute you again. So yeah, so let's get into what's going on here. First off, what I did was I'm looking at these amps, and I'm looking at how they come when you select the amp and cab. Okay, so let me just go to just a blank preset first. and I'll pull up the Rev Gen and just show you kind of what you get when you come out of the box. I'm on the Rev Gen Red. Obviously, there's no noise gate when you first turn it on, so I go over here and turn this input gate on, first and foremost. Okay, so you'll notice when you select the amp and cab, the cabinet that normally is, you're going to get by default is this 4x12 Cali V30 with this 47 FET condenser mic on it. So that's what I start with. Now I'm going to jump back over here to my version of this and just show you what I did. So what I like to do is, again, something I know we've talked about a lot, but when I'm doing this, I want to put more than one mic on this cabinet because I want to be able to capture just more than as much of the nuances as I can. So I find that being able to use two mics on one cabinet is the way to go. So you'll see that I've got the link connected here. So what that does is give you, you've got the two speakers here, but essentially you're working with one speaker or one cabinet, and I have two mics. So I always leave the factory mic on there. So this 47 condenser mic is in the preset already. Then I'll go over here and find something different that captures, some different nuances of it. So I thought for this one, this 421 dynamic mic sounded really good. So I'm just going to jump back over here. I'll have to rebuild this, but I'm going to go back over here to just the amp and cab, and I'm going to just demo the two. Turn that noise gate back on. Demo the two different mics. So here we are with the 47. Here's what it sounds like. Pretty good already. I'm pretty cold, man. I haven't played guitar today. I haven't played guitar much at all lately. So that's what the 47 condenser is going to sound like. Now, I'm just going to change it to this 421 dynamic and let you hear how that sounds. You can probably tell, hopefully. It's got a brighter sound, It's a dynamic mic, and so dynamic mics typically seem to sound a bit brighter. And so I like that. I like how the 57 sounds in front of a high gain amp. Here's the 57. Got a really good sound. All of these dynamic mics sound good. Let's check out this 7 dynamic. Let's see, here's the 906. So you can see these dynamic mics just, compared to any of these condenser mics. There's a 414. They're a bit darker. See, I actually own this 414 mic in real life. It's a great sounding mic. It's a bit darker, not quite as sharp sounding, a little smoother. Here's a 67. And let's see these last couple of mics. This is the one that comes with it, the 47. This is the one that comes stock on this Cali, the 4x12 Cali. I just think it's such a rich sounding mic. But I think it's cool to have both. So, you know, that's what I did on this. I'm gonna save that. Now I have to reconnect my Helix. For some reason, the HX Edit, it has trouble staying connected when I'm on OBS. Let me save this. Y'all bear with me. I gotta restart that HX Edit. I don't know why that always happens to me when I'm on OBS. Okay. Cool. All right, so back to mine. Here's what it sounds like with both a dynamic and a condenser. Heard, but you can tell. Really in your face. In this room it is. I hope it translates, you know, over your computer, because it sounds really good in here. And of course, all these Amp of the Week presets will be available on the custom tone page. I don't think this one has actually been released yet as far as the actual social media posts, but whenever it does come out, you'll already kind of have a heads up on it, and it will be available on the custom tone page. So you can definitely download this one for yourself. But yeah, I just leave these two mics kind of where they are. Something that's worth noting, you know, especially with like a dynamic mic, if you change it to the 45-degree angle, that will also take a little bit of harshness out of the high end. In any mic that you do this with, it'll darken it just a little bit. When you turn a mic on its axis like that, it sort of dampens the amount of, I guess, frequencies hitting that diaphragm in a microphone. So it can soften the harshness just a little bit. But I didn't do that on this because I've already got this super sweet sounding condenser mic. Sorry. And I didn't really want that. I wanted to capture all that harshness from the dynamic mic. Although it is a little bit off center, just so it's not quite as shrill. If you put it right there in the dead center, it's going to be a bit more shrill as far as tone goes. But yeah, that's the meat and potatoes of what I did with this. And as far as the amp goes, I just leave the amp the way it is factory, so you can just get a really good idea of what this amp sounds like on its own. Now I did a couple of little things to this preset, and I'll touch on those briefly, and then I'm gonna get Chris's take on some of this. But of course, always need some kind of reverb or delay to cover up your mistakes, right? If you're gonna be playing leads or anything like that. And it's just always the simple delay. So I've got this simple delay going here, and probably speed that up a little bit for myself. if you want that for playing leads, you know, I prefer a little bit of delay over reverb for these super high gain sounds, just because they've already got so much sustain because of all that distortion. So, you know, probably not even that much delay. I'd probably back off the feedback in the mix to about 20%. That's the magic number. From just going on forever. And the final ingredient, I like on any of these really modern high gain sounding amps, I love the way the Horizon Drive sounds, because that's just a really modern overdrive. And I didn't really do a lot of tweaking to this. I don't remember how this thing comes out of the box. I do have the attack all the way up, but the drive is fairly low. But these things have more drive than the average distortion pedal. So, you know, 10 on the Horizon is more than 10 on what you would expect from a pedal like this. But I did throw in a cool little foot switch for the gate on the Horizon Drive. So there is a noise gate built into the Horizon Drive. If you've seen the Horizon gate in the Helix, that's really just the noise gate section of the Horizon Drive. So, you know, not only do you have the input gate turned on, like I have right now, but the Horizon Drive has a gate as well. So if you're playing, you know, like the djenty stuff, you know, part of that sound is a heavily gated guitar that's got, you know, it's got so much distortion and stuff, and they're banging the strings so hard that in order to get a really tight, punchy, articulate sound, you got to gate it. Tell already that when I have that on, it's like heavier sounding, but it's also chokes it off a little bit. See how tight and articulate that sounds? But I did put a foot switch just controlling the gate on the Horizon Drive. So if I want to play something where I have some long sustaining notes, maybe with some delay, I just hit this gate button that I added to it, and it turns the gate off. So when the gate's on, let me see. Start to lose sustain pretty soon, you know, and that's the idea of the gate. Barely picking the thing right now. When you're playing solos, your picking is usually a lot more. There's a lot more finesse than just, you know. I like to turn that off, so if I want the sustain and I'm not playing the strings real hard. So that's what I got going on there. So yeah, since we've got Chris here, Chris, I'll just I guess you can unmute yourself. I think you told me you may have made a couple changes to yours, so I'll let you talk about that.
Cool. Well, yeah, I did do some changes to the preset itself. Nothing major. I just selected different mics that maybe better suited my ears, because in the end, it's really all a matter of taste, right? So I still use the same cabinet. which was a Cali V30, and I went with a dual mic setup as you did. So I chose the 121 and the 57. Once again, like last week with Nick, this combination of microphone is just classic. It's been used all over the world, and it just works. It's my 57 is at a 45-degree angle, so it's off axis, just to take out a bit of that extra harshness. And the 121 is almost right on the middle of the cap. It's further in. So it kind of balances, because the 121 is a very dark mic in and of itself. And I did add a high cut on each, so it emulates a real speaker frequency range. Otherwise, the amp is almost as is. I did turn down the drive a little bit, so it's still a high gain amp, but it won't be that crazy. So you hear that there's not that much drive for now, and I did modify some settings in the Artisan drive, and I did add a bit of gain, and I did add a bit of attack, but not just to tighten up things, maybe not in the most extreme way, but just to give me some more kick, you know. So let's hear it again off. So it's not muddy, but it's on the verge of being muddy. And then if I just turn it on, so it added a bit of gain to come back in that modern high gain territory, and then it just took off some of the mud to just really hear everything you're playing. Those are pretty much the mods that I did to the preset for now. Once again, it's really a matter of taste. So
Yeah, very cool, man. I like it. I dig that combination. Like you said, that's like a really classic combination. And I know the preset that you guys were discussing last week, I really liked how you had that sounding as well. I don't remember what the amp was, but I remember it sounded really good. So this one sounds really good too, man. So I like what you did with it, and that was kind of the idea of this to be kind of a open palette that you could do. You know, well, the original idea behind it was to get the idea of how the amp sounds in Helix, but yeah, I like the way you tweaked it and did all that to it. So very cool. And then I saw a comment here somewhere. Oh yeah, from Zach. The last week's Amp of the Week preset is not uploaded to Custom Tone. I don't remember what amp that was, man, because they've been doing 1 or 2 amps, or 3, I'm not sure, but more than one each week. So I'm not sure which amp you're referring to. They should have it up there. So sorry if it's still not there. Well, I guess we better let them know. Oh, you have another comment. It was the Cali, Texas. Was that the Cali, Texas that I did? Because I know I did I think it was like channel 2 for the Cali, Texas, but I don't remember if it was that one or not. Sorry, my Instagram game has been pretty weak lately because you guys aren't following me. So I just quit. I just gave up. But anyway, I don't know, man. I'll check on that. Sorry that it was not there. It should be. So, you know, they should have everything up there as the presets are released. Sorry about that, Zach. Wish I could tell you more about it. But Paul is loving the JCM 800. And Cristiano says there's not enough serious bass. Do you mean bass presets or bass? Let's see here. The factory boxes are withered. It does not have serious bass. Are you talking about bass amps and presets or just bass EQ? Not really sure. But anyway. Yeah, well, that's very cool, Chris. I think it sounds awesome what you did. And I'm not the biggest user of these super high gain sounds myself. But I guess when I was a kid, I was really into the metal and everything. But I don't do a lot of that these days. So this was a little bit outside my comfort zone. Honestly, that Cali, Texas is more my comfort zone these days, or maybe like a good old Fender Deluxe reverb or something simple that you can clean up or put a little overdrive on. Of course, I like those jazzy sounds, so I'm not as big a fan of distortion as I once was. But yeah, man, we had a good group show up today. Looks like we had quite a few people here that stayed with us through this. So, Chris, is there anything else you wanted to add, or are you all good, man?
Well, the only thing I might want to add, well, it is something that people already know, but when we model those amps for Helix, for example, I'm still on my HX edit window at the moment, but everything's taken into consideration, including the settings and the switches that you can find on the real amp it was modeled after. So here, for example, we have the aggression switch that you can find on the actual Revv amp that model is based on. So it's really giving people the chance to try amps that they maybe wouldn't be able to find in the real form. So that's such a cool feature that I felt that it was very important to mention it. It really it really models the whole preamp of the amp itself and gives you the same exact features that the real thing would give you. So it's just a really cool thing. We're in the golden age of technology where all these things are now available to us, right?
Yeah, totally. I agree with that 110%. Um, and I really like what you said about just the Helix giving you just this way to check out all these amps that you wouldn't normally be able to check out in real life, and check out features, that are just like with the tubes and stuff, with the tube amps, how you can adjust tube bias and compression and things like that you wouldn't be able to just do, with an amp at a store somewhere. So, and like you said, the golden age of technology for this stuff, I think that is where we are. I mean, if we're not, I can't wait to see what's next. But yeah, it's great. And the Helix has been a total game changer for me. I was not even a gearhead type guy before I came to Line 6. And luckily it was right when Helix was coming out. So it's been a good experience, and it's been life changing, especially for recording, because I do a lot of recording at home, and I'm sure you do too. But just makes it so easy. So yeah, man. And we have a lot more of these. I'm going to talk about in my next couple of live streams. I'll talk about some more models that I did for the Amp of the Week campaign. I think, Chris, you're going to be joining me for the next two of my live streams, which they're going to be, separated by a few weeks. But
that's correct.
But you'll be here for that too. So cool, man. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Chris, thank you for hanging out today, and good job with your personal modifications to the preset, man. And I look forward to seeing what you do when you're doing these things on your own.
All right, man. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. See y'all later.